Good morning, everybody. This is Dr. Sudhindra, working as an assistant professor of physics at Department of Science and Technology of Faculty of Education and Methodology at Jayoti Vidyapeeth Women's University, Jaipur. Topic or the name of the session for this presentation is population inversion and helium neon laser. So in this lecture, we will basically first discuss about the population inversion, which is a necessary condition for the lasing action. And after introducing the concept of population inversion, we will move to our main topic, which is the helium neon laser, which is very widely used in our day-to-day life. So let me just give you slide. So this is our today's topic. So first we move to the process of population inversion. So in our previous lecture, I have already told you that what is laser, what is the phenomena of spontaneous emission, uh, stimulated emission, and the absorption of radiation. Okay. So if you are aware of that, so I have shown here a diagram in which I have shown the phenomena of stimulated emission, which is basically needed for these two topics. So I will just quickly go through this. So in this case, as I told you earlier, we are having two energy levels. One we have named as ground level and another one as excited level, and the energy of this level, as you can see, we have tagged as E1. However, the energy of the excited state has been tagged as E2. So before the emission, the atom is in its excited state, and the energy difference between these two states is delta E. So when a photon h nu, incident photon of energy h nu, will be hitting on this atom, and this energy h nu must be equal to the energy difference of these two levels, which is delta E. So in that case, photon, the atom will decay down to its ground state, and there in the output we will be having two photons, and each of these photons will be of energy h nu. So this process is basically known as the process of stimulated emission. So for what is the population inversion? So if in a sample of large number of atoms and not at temperature T in thermal equilibrium, the distribution of atoms in different energy state follows Maxwell-Boltzmann distribution. At any absolute temperature, let us say T Kelvin, the instantaneous population or the number of atoms in energy states E1 and E2 are given by, if it is N1, then N1 will be equal to N0 times e raised to the power minus E1 upon KT, and N2 will be equal to N0 into e raised to the power minus E2 upon KT. So where K is Boltzmann's constant and N1 and N2 are number of atoms in energy states E1 and E2 respectively. These E1 and E2 are the energies or the excitation energies of these two states. So for an ordinary conventional source of light, usually energy of excited state is greater than the energy of ground state. So E2 is greater than E1, and usually number of atoms in ground states, that is N1, is greater than the number of atoms in the excited state. So N1 is greater than N2. So that is the number of atoms in higher energy state E2 is less than the number of atoms in lower energy state E1. So if by some technique the number of atoms in the high energy state E2 is made much larger than that in low energy state E1. So the this situation in which the number of atoms in the higher energy state is greater than that in the lower energy state is called population inversion. Okay, so the process by which the population inversion is achieved are the process by which atoms are brought from lower energy state to higher energy states and maintained there is called pumping. So the process, this process is necessary to achieve the state of population inversion. Okay. So this process of population inversion can be done by two methods. So one method is known as the three-level laser system. So I have shown the figure of three level laser system. So a typical three-level scheme is shown here in the figure. So initially, the atomic population of ground state E1 is maximum when the atom are excited through an intense pumping radiation of frequency, some frequency which is nu p equal to E3 minus E1 upon H. So a large number of atoms that are originally in the ground energy level E1 are pumped to the uppermost energy level E3. The excited state E3 is short-lived, therefore the atoms cannot remain there for a larger time. So some of these pumped atoms make a spontaneous transition to the lowest energy level E1, but most of them decay rapidly into an intermediate state E2, which is a metastable state. So I have already told you about the metastable state. So any state which is having a lifetime greater than 10 raised to the power minus 8 second is normally known as the metastable state. So the transition from E3 to E2 is radiationless or non-radiative. In this transition, energy is converted to the system as heat. As the energy level E2 is long-lived, atomic absorption of metastable state E2 goes on increasing gradually, while the atomic population of ground level E1 goes on decreasing. So when the atomic population of level E2 becomes more than half of the atomic population of lower level E1, the population inversion is achieved. So now photon of energy h nu, which will be equal to E2 minus E1, can initiate stimulated or laser transition. So these type of method, which is a three-level lasers, are usually followed in case of Ruby laser, but it has a drawback that is generally requires very high pumping power. So in order to get rid of this problem of pumping, we use another technique which is known as the four level lasers. So in this figure, I have shown the